you guys are going to see right up here that we are going to first start talking about the slope-intercept form of a line, which you guys know is y equals mx plus b. That's called slope-intercept. Why? Why is it called slope-intercept? Kurt?
Because slope comes first in the equation and then the y-intercept.
Is that always true? Y equals 5 minus x. Does the slope come first? Okay, so the slope, I'm just going to say it's slope-intercept because the slope and the intercept are like both right there. Yeah, and if it's in this exact form, then that slope is going to be that number that comes first, being multiplied by the x. Okay, so the m is the slope, and the b is the y-intercept, and which it literally says right here, and the slope and the y-intercept we write as an ordered pair 0b. Now there's a second part right here. This is an exception. The vertical line has an equation in the form of x equals a, vertical line up and down. The equation cannot be written in the form y equals mx plus b because the slope of a vertical line is undefined. There is no slope for a vertical line, so we can't write it in slope-intercept form. So that's kind of an exception. If it's vertical line, it has a different kind of equation. So I want you to take a moment, and these 4 equations right here, I want you to find the slope and the y-intercept of each of them, and you'll see space where you can write the slope and the y-intercept of each of those. And then we'll go over that. Okay, so for question A, we're going to find the slope is 1/2, and then the y-intercept is at 0, 1. Now, I cannot read your mind, so when you go to graph this stuff, and I even wrote it in the directions in your assignment, when you go to graph this stuff, you have to write down this information. If the word slope is too long to write down, what could we write instead of the 5-letter word slope? How about m? Because that is that variable that normally means slope. I abbreviated y-intercept, y-int. So when we go to graph that, we're going to begin at our y-intercept, 0, 1. We're going to begin at 0, 1. And then we are going to move with our slope, move, m, move, up 1 over 2. And then you will continue that pattern, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And then I ran out of graph. Oh no. Well, the slope, 1 over 2 is a reduced version. So I can also do -1 over -2, and that will give me the exact same 1 over 2 slope. So if I go down 1, left 2, 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 I'm still that same pattern. And we have straight edges so that we can use straight edges. When you are in these higher level courses, I'm expecting you to be able to show your work. And when you draw the line, because you have a straight edge, the line goes all the way through the graph. Don't just draw 2 points and end your line right there. All the way through the graph. Okay. Question B, y equals 2. Is that in slope-intercept form? Is that y equals mx plus b form? Why not? Sander? Is there no slope? Or is it 0 slope? Because no and O is different than 0. You say no slope? 0 slope. So this is the equation y equals 0x plus 2. So it is in y equals mx plus b form. We just why would we write 0x? We just know that it's there. So then our slope for this one is going to be 0, and our y-intercept is the ordered pair 0, 2. So we begin at 2, And to use a zero slope, you can put 0 over any number you want. It doesn't matter. You can put it over 1. You can put it over any number you want. You're going to go up nothing over however many you want. Up nothing over however many you want. So this is going to make a horizontal line. Now some people confuse this with vertical lines. So what I like to think about is because there is no x in the equation, there will be no x-intercept. So this will never cross the x-axis. So it's parallel to the x-axis. There's no x-intercept, there's no x, it won't cross the x-axis. Alright, question C. Is this in the form y equals mx plus b? No. It's actually in what's called standard form, which we're going to talk about on the back of this page. But we could change it. What? Subtract x from both sides? Yeah. Y equals negative x plus 3. So our slope is negative 1. Our y-intercept is at 0, 3. So we begin at 3, and then we go down 1 over 1. We move with our slope. You have a straight edge, so you really don't need to draw all these points. Doing it for fun. You have a straight edge. It's a line. And then question D. Is this in the form of y equals mx plus b? Nope. Can I make it in the form of y equals? Nope. Is there a y? So it cannot be form of y equals mx plus b because there is no y. There will be no y-intercept. This D has to do with that extra little information right over here. A vertical line has the equation in the form of x equals a number. It cannot be written in y equals mx plus b because it doesn't have a slope, or the slope is undefined. So I can write down the slope. And in your assignment, I would like you to include slope, undefined. Y-intercept, there isn't one. So if I ask you to find if I ask you to find a y-intercept, and your answer is blank, and I can't read your mind, if you leave something blank, what do you think your teacher thinks? What do you think? If it's blank, what normally happens? They don't know it and they skipped it. Okay? How do I know that you know the answer is none? Write down none? Okay. Now I know you know it. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Don't skip things, because then I think you skipped it. You can add in, if you would like, x-intercept. I know where the x-intercept is going to be. It's going to be at -4, 0. So go to -4 on the x-axis. There will be no y-intercept. So this is going to be a vertical line. It will not pass through the y-axis at all. My straight edge will help me save some time there. All right, we covered graphing. Oh, that took way too long. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to plow through this. Next is finding the slope. If you know two ordered pairs, then you can find the slope using the fun formula that you learned way back when. You do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, y2 stands for second y, y1 is first y. So we're going to go through and find the slope for each of these. You can work ahead of me. I'm talking, it takes me longer to explain than it takes you just to do it. Or if you need to do every step with me, that's fine as well. Most mistakes when I was helping my last bell is forgetting negative signs or not simplifying. So I'm going to do 1 minus 0 over 3 minus -2. That gives me 1 over +5. My slope is 1/5. Question B. 2 minus 2 over 2 minus -1. 0 over 3. If I take 0 and I divide it by 3, that's up nothing over 3. That is a slope of 0. Question C. Negative 1 minus 4 over 1 minus 0. Negative 5 over 1. Simplify that. Negative 5. And then question D. 1 minus 4 over 3 minus 3. That gives me negative 3 over 0. If I have any number and I divide by 0, if I have any number and I divide by 0, up here I have a little thing written down. If I have any number and I divide by 0, what does that say? Well, that's the answer. What does that say? Some people said it. No! You can't do that! If you have a number divided by 0, no! And it's undefined. If it says no, number over 0, that's the undefined. 0 over number is 0. Okay, the next form is point slope form. Point slope form is called point slope form because in the equation you pop in a point, ordered pair x1, y1, and you put in the slope, m. So therefore it's called point slope form. This form is used a lot in pre-calc, and we do it with, it changes a bit, but we do this with like quadratics, and we do this with trigonometric graphs. Same kind of format. So we use this one a lot. Did anybody do transformations in Algebra 1? Transformations, like translate 4 units to the right. Vertical stretch of, this is a transformation form too. So we use this one a lot. Okay, if you do not have point slope memorized, in order to get it memorized, we're going to write it while we do our assignment and while we do our notes. We're going to, like, it's right there, but I'm going to write it every time so I get it memorized. Number 3, write the equation of the line that has a slope of 3 and passes through the point 1, negative 2. So I'm going to start, I have a point and I have a slope. That means point slope form. My point slope formula, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm memorizing it as I write it many, many times. So we're going to plug stuff in. Y minus, my y1 is negative 2 equals slope times x minus 1. And we simplify. Y plus 2 equals 3 times x minus 1. That's point slope form. This does not say how to write it. It doesn't say to write it in a particular form. In your assignment, it does tell you to change it into particular forms. So let's change this one into slope intercept. So I'm going to change this into slope intercept form. I need to get it to y equals mx plus b. What should I do first? I'm going to start cold calling. Let's say, Ella? What should I do? I want to change it into the slope intercept form. So I need to get y by itself, y equals mx plus b. What should I do first? I can do that, but like with all this other junk over here, I don't think I want to do that yet. Garen? Yeah, we're going to distribute first, then we'll just subtract. So distribute the 3. So y plus 2 equals 3x minus 3. And then we'll take away our 2. Now we have slope intercept. Okay? Alright, example 4. Write the equation of a line that passes through the ordered pairs negative 1, negative 2, and negative 3, 5. If I'm trying to do point slope form or slope intercept form, doesn't matter which form I'm doing, I'm not given some piece of information. Point slope or slope intercept, what am I not given here? Kia?
The slope.
Yeah, we gotta find the slope. So that's where we're going to start. Let's find the slope, which we just practiced on the front. 5 minus negative 2 over negative 3 minus negative 1. 7 over negative 2, which is negative 7/2. So now I have my slope. I'm going to use point slope form. So if I don't have that memorized yet, I'm going to write it every time. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, point slope form. I'm going to plug in an ordered pair. But which one do I use? Why? Okay, so it says to use x1, y1. Does this one have to be first? Could they give me the same answer if they were written in the other order? Okay, so do I have to use the first one? No. You can use whatever one you want. I am going to use the first one, and there's a reason why, because I think ahead and think about like what requires the least amount of work. So I am going to use the first one, but you don't have to. Do you guys know why I'm going to use the first one? Can anybody read my mind? Smaller numbers? That's not why, but that could be a reason why you choose it. Xander, what do you think? That might be a reason why I chose it. That's not why I chose this one, but that might be a reason why I choose it. Garen, do you know why I chose it? Yep. And what happens if I have them both negative when I put them in? Well, what happens when I do y minus a negative and x? Yeah, and I just wanted them both to be positive. But any of these reasons, like you guys could validate why you chose one over the other. Or you could just choose the first one because it says use the first one. Up to you. Sometimes, though, I might give you an easier one for the second one, just to see who's paying attention. See who's thinking ahead. Okay, so that is point slope form. I got y plus 2 equals negative 7/2, x plus 1. We are going to change that into slope intercept form. We're going to change it into the form y equals mx plus b. So we're going to distribute. Oh, no. And I think, who said, because you're going to have to multiply by 1. Who, was that Xander? You knew I was going to have to do that. I know this is going to be really hard, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to multiply with a fraction without a calculator. So are you, by the way. So are you. Because when we have a quiz, sometimes the quizzes are going to be non-calculator. Like our first quiz is going to be non-calculator quiz. So you're going to have to multiply negative 7/2 times 1 without a calculator. Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I know it's hard. So we multiply that and I get minus 7/2. All right, next we're going to subtract 2. Without a calculator, I'm going to have to subtract 7/2 minus 2. What do I do to this minus 2? I make it into halves. How many halves are minus 4 halves? Okay. And then remember, when we subtract fractions, we subtract the numerators and we keep the common denominator. So minus 11/2. Whew! Did it. Without a calculator, you can do it too. If you do need special extra fraction help, you just come see me. I'll try to work with them. I know some of you have always used the calculator for everything, but like there are going to be some times we're going to step out of our comfort zone. When you're doing like super high level math questions, if you need to pull out your calculator, which you can't even find right now, that's going to take you way too long. We don't have time to go find that. You should be able to subtract those without a calculator. Okay. All right, 2 more sections. Next is standard form. Now this, I don't think you did a whole lot of in Algebra 1, or maybe you didn't do it at all. So standard form is the equation that is in the form ax plus by equals c. The x and the y are on the same side of the equation, and then the constant by itself on the other side. They have some rules, and if you don't abide by these rules, then it is not correct. A, the first coefficient for x, has to be positive. Can't be negative. And then A, B, and C are integers, which means no fractions or decimals. You know what? This is wrong. It has to be positive. That's not true. It just can't be negative. Because it can be 0. And 0 is not positive. I was getting really technical there. Alright. A cannot be negative, and A, B, and C cannot be fractions, cannot be decimals. Here's also one piece of information that we're going to use on the last page of these notes. The slope of the equation when it's in standard form, instead of trying to change it into a different form, you can look at this and find the slope. You just do negative A over B, when you have the slope. So we'll come back to that in a moment. Alright, equation, excuse me, equation 3, or example 3A. Write your equation from example 3 in standard form. So we're going to take our answer from example 3, y equals 3x minus 5, and we're going to change it into standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. How are they different? What should I do? Michaela, do you know anything I should do? Yeah, but I can't just write it first. What do I have to do to mathematically get it over there? Subtract, yeah. So we're going to subtract that, and I'm going to get negative 3x plus y equals negative 5. Is this standard form? Is A a positive number or a not negative number? Nope, so this is not standard form. If you stop there, you just got it wrong. So how can I make negative 3 change into positive 3? Okay. Somebody raise your hand because I can't hear what you're saying. Madison. That is one option. You could divide by negative 1. There's like 3 options. Anybody else? Oh. You guys don't do my option. You could multiply by negative 1. Or you could just like add 3x, subtract y, and add 5 to the other side. So you could just like move everything from one side to the other, and that would make it positive as well. I like multiplying by negative 1. I don't know why. I like that better than dividing, but they give you the exact same answer. So whatever you choose. Multiply or divide. Or move everything. It should switch all of the signs. And now we have it in standard form. Example 4, we're now going to use example 4 and change y equals negative 7 halves x minus 11 halves into standard form. Hey, Kira. Oh, it's our lunch. Oh, so I'm going to pause this. We'll just finish after lunch. You guys grab your phone.